Endoparasitic is a 2D survival horror indie game with a unique control scheme, which I think is the main draw of this game. You can play this game entirely with one hand. Everything is distilled down to just point and click. You have to drag yourself by your face down corridors of an infected science base, or grab and aim your gun, or manage your inventory. You cannot do any of these things at the same time because your character has had three of his limbs ripped off, and all he has is his hand to maneuver and escape the science base that you start the game in. Reloading bullets is even done one at a time, where you have to remove each spent casing one at a time from your weapon, and then similarly load each bullet one at a time into your weapon. Inventory is also classic grid style with squares. More valuable items take up more space, so you have to think about, do I want lots of pistol ammo or do I want a couple of flare gun shells? Now, the cool thing is, health, weapons, and key items do not take up inventory spaces. We're a little bit forgiving on that front. Now, what's great about the one-handed controls is the panic that it creates, which is a great feeling you want to have in survival horror games. It's really immersive to feel like a injured scientist that's trying to survive despite the grievous injuries that were inflicted upon him at the start of the game. Now, I'm not a huge fan of the survival horror genre, so you can probably take what I say with a grain of salt on some of that stuff. But it felt like a really good contender of the title. We have limited supplies, like ammo, and limited health kits to keep ourselves alive. But at the same time, it's not just run, reload, turn, and shoot, or like Resident Evil, where you have a melee weapon where, okay, I'm completely out of ammo, but I'm not helpless. This game will let you feel helpless. This game will make you helpless if you don't learn how to aim and if you don't learn how to move and position yourself correctly. It is incredibly important to do these things because you can only do them one at a time. Your character, while you're controlling him, you have to move the hand to his waistband to withdraw the revolver before you can start aiming it at an alien and then filling them full of lead. The game in the very beginning kind of forces you to learn how to move and position yourself and steady your aim, because otherwise you're going to run out of ammo and some corridors and hallways are going to feel impossible to get through. But once you get the hang of it, I felt like the game was pretty generous in the amount of supplies that it gave you and allowed you to explore, figure out where you need to go, maybe die to a beginner's trap, enemy hidden around a corner, or some explosion or something that you didn't see. But for the most part, the game was very well paced. It did the survival horror thing of, let's build the suspense, let's build the panic, let's freak you out. But once you get past the challenge, then it says, all right, we're going to dial it back, give you some breathing room, let you think about it, find a save point, read a computer terminal so you can get some backstory on the game, and then we're going to push you into the next chapter where we might introduce a new mechanic, a new enemy, or a time limit, something like that, where it's okay, move, or you're gonna die. Great pacing, I want to say. Another aspect that is very good at building suspense and tenseness in the scenes of the game is your limited sight. Because your character is basically face down on the tiled floor of the science base, and he's dragging himself along by one hand, his sight is limited. And so you have this fog of war that covers a lot of the rooms that you're in, and you have to peek around a corner to generate line of sight in order to see what's there. And that can be extremely dangerous because I've had plenty of times where I'll look around a corner and, oh my God, there's an alien right there and it's going to aggro on me. So then I have to panic run away from him, create some space so I can turn, take out my gun, and then have plenty of time to aim at it and shoot it before it kills me. I'm glad to say, thankfully, that this game does not have a lot of backtracking. I think the most egregious examples of this would probably be going to one edge of the map, finding a switch, hitting it, and then you have to travel all the way back to another corner of the map to explore an area that was previously locked. But it's survival horror. Backtracking or deep exploration of areas is part of the genre. especially when you have limited supplies. You want to search every nook and cranny that is safe to search in order to get all the materials that you need in order to be successful. There is no point in, say, going through your entire magazine of ammo on a couple of bad guys to get to one chest, and then it's like, hey, here's 2 shells. It's like, well, I spent 8 to get to this thing. But I mean, that's part of survival horror, right? Now, Endoparasitic has pixel art. Not really a whole lot that I can say about it. It's pretty nostalgic in the way that it's drawn. I grew up playing games that were on DOS and we had limited resolution, so seeing pixels was just kind of normal. If you like that kind of look, it does it really well. Even without the pixel art, it's we got a top-down view the whole time. We have good flash effects from like the muzzle flashes from the guns, or even like launching the flare gun and the big sizzling, burning and smoke effects. It's really cool to see like top-notch art being drawn with a filter of pixel art on top of it. Now, I will say though, in terms of like artistic value, there's not a lot of color. It's a lot of black, white, and gray, which gets punctuated by blood splatters. You're gonna get hit, you're gonna bleed, you're gonna kill the other aliens, they're gonna bleed, and that's really about it. So it's not a very colorful game, but that's great because elements that are important to you actually really stand out. Like ammo will really stand out. Switches, when you see the green or the red of a light switch, like, oh, okay, I know what that is. The story is actually pretty good. It's got a nice twist to it. I'm not going to expose it here in the video. You have to kind of search your way through to find what the story is. You have to read the computer terminals, and it's told through messages of people emailing each other back and forth. Some characters you might encounter in the story, some of them are like emailing HR departments or similar things, item requisition teams, things like this nature. But it helps you figure out why the base is there, what it was researching, and what went wrong. I will gonna say that the game is short. I beat it in about 4 hours in one stream, and I think the length of the game is actually perfect because the controls of being a point and click, a frantic point and click because of the suspense of the action of the combat, it could probably get really tedious, and not tedious in like building suspense, but tedious like, okay, here I go. I have to stop and reload this gun. I have to reload this gun. I have to reload this gun. Let me sort my inventory again and make sure everything's stacked up. Like doing that over and over and over could probably really drag on someone. I felt like 4 hours at a $10 game was a pretty good price point, and I thought it was very enjoyable. So not a whole lot that I can really expand upon here. Its main selling point is the one-handed controls, and I think it's worth playing just to see how an immersive control system of just having the mouse to click and drag can actually help you feel a lot of attunement with the main character. Like, okay, he only has one arm, and I have this very limited control scheme. We're both suffering together. It's really good in that. So I think for $10, it's a good story. It's a good game. It's a quick game. Pick it up if you like the survival horror genre or you're looking for something different. Hope you guys liked the video. I'm gonna get my feet wet and make a couple more reviews like this. So I hope if you liked it, you liked the video. And if you want to see more reviews or watch me live stream these games, you can also subscribe to the channel. That's going to do it for my review of Endoparasitic on Steam. Hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.